Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the NXT review for January 4th, 2012. We move into the continuation of the celebration of the expansion into the second 100 episodes, apparently. Matt Stryker comes out. He's talking about the kind of history of NXT. Out also comes other individuals. Johnny Curtis, who's here, he's kind of talking a bunch of trash. He's talking about the I guess, run of things, and then we see return of Alex Riley. Riley, who was a super talented guy from previous generations, or I'm sorry, Michael McGillicuddy and Alex Riley are there. I wrote others in my notes because they're also part of the process. But McGillicuddy talks about never being really given a fair shot to be everything he can be, and then there's the brawl between him and O'Reilly, which seems to pick up from previous seasons of a show that's been around for 2 years but feels like 20. Uh, Riley goes to the outside and gets tossed to the outside. The match happens right on cue here. Drop kick under the chin, and McGillicuddy and O'Reilly are kind of going at it. More brawling than average in the situation. McGillicuddy certainly looking more, I don't know that polished is the word, I would say maybe aggressive since his time in the main roster has been here, and also many iterations, about 2 years worth of, well, a year and a half at least, time since he's been on the NXT show. Spinebuster by O'Reilly. O'Reilly kind of doing a bit more of a process there, and ultimately, things kind of get picked up, and ultimately kick into the midsection, and we see a bunch of slide throughs. O'Reilly manages kind of a TKO diamond cutter type maneuver, and then we go into several talks and hype there. Caitlyn is alongside Derek Bateman. They kind of run the rerun of Caitlyn and Maxine having issues, and Maxine having issues with Derek Bateman, and they kind of go into that role. Ultimately, some previous ladies return, and again, Alicia Fox is here, who was managing Maxine or proing for Maxine in previous incarnations of things. Not exactly, your greatest deal, Caitlyn out here, and other such individuals are here as well. Maxine and Caitlyn go at it a little bit, although the hype for the previous thing, I mean, nothing really happens in that match because the hype for the eventual war between the two is there. Then we see Yoshitatsu and Trent Beretta playing video games backstage. Confrontation between Beretta and Tatsu and Rex and others are there. Obviously, I assume, SmackDown versus Raw game at that point. Hype for the Royal Rumble upcoming. Back when the Royal Rumble still kind of meant something. Not that it doesn't now, but it's more predictable than ever before. Still can't believe, 1988 to now, the second biggest pay-per-view of the year is, reduced to being somewhat predictable year by year. And again, I mean, they did a nice 5 to 10 minute piece on the Royal Rumble and the history thereof. Obviously, the process of the, Royal Rumble is a pretty big deal, and there are certainly, without a doubt, lots of history there and many people going on to become champion after the Rumble. Obviously, so Yoshitatsu and Trent Beretta make their way out. They are tag teaming against Kurt Hawkins and Tyler Rex, although they're not really getting too far with that. More talking segment than anything else in this particular process. Then we see Beretta and Hawkins end up going one-on-one. It looked like they were going to tag, but the tag was more hype for the singles match. Hawkins going at it with Beretta. I believe they have from what I recall, somewhat of a, wouldn't say a complete friendship, but more of a friendship than average, and short clotheslines, basic stuff. Both of their individual seconds are out there at ringside, kind of going nuts for the benefit of each other and for their respective partners. They don't get everything they want out of the process, but they get enough. And again, kind of a slide through. Beretta gets taken down. And then we go into more of the continuation of hype between various other people who've already had 10 million matches, specifically after the Beretta and Hawkins match, which Beretta nails a nice springboard DDT off of. Beretta gets a victory off of that, and ultimately Darren Young comes out and again challenges the benefit of, this time, Derek Bateman. Bateman, who they've kind of turned, well, they have turned babyface at this point. He wants to get his hands on anybody because of the issues he's having in his relationship. And obviously, Bateman and Young have been around for the majority of this season, so that only makes logical sense there. And with about 23 episodes left in this marathon season, why not have these two go at it? Bateman takes more shots to the buckle and more of a aggressive bit of punishment there. They go brawling outside the ring. Bateman comes back in, has more control than average, and is looking a little more polished as a babyface than he has been as the heel. Clobbering by Darren Young. Darren Young hits the elevated gutbuster and gets a victory in the process, and we are done with this particular episode. We'll be back with more right after this.